Another day, another lot of rolls.
Wee bit of stars training. Gotta get her to boop the cone.
Hello, so it's Sunday and I realised I had a couple of hours spare, and I also realised that I hadn't ever planned on painting Radiator into my timeline. But we're going to start tackling that today. I'm not due to meet my family for brunch for another like 3 hours. I'm going to tackle this Radiator and see how far I can get. I'm very excited for this paint splodged mess to look like a nice flat radiator. The before. It's as if they painted the radiator cover with it on the radiator.
And had to help her before we started this, then had to lock her away. So this took a lot longer than I thought. I hadn't anticipated how annoying sanding all the little grooves were, and especially with all those grooves, I couldn't use my sander. So this took, like I said, this took much longer than I thought. Also, my fingers ended up really hurting, and I ended up having to go for my gloves. I don't know why I didn't just wear them from the start. It was so much comfier. But we eventually got there. Most of the splashes of paint was coming off really easily with the sanding. Well, easily, with a chunk of force, but we're coming off back down and leaving it nice and scuffed, ready for painting the next day.
So once again, I've misjudged timings and how long stuff's gonna take me. So,
Say again, sorry?
washed, do nothing.
Are you talking to the camera?
So once again, I've massively misjudged the time I had and how long stuff's gonna take me. But at least the radiator is sanded, dried down, turned off, so I don't forget to do that later. And then I can paint it first thing on Monday.
Couldn't resist grabbing some of these shots. It was so nice walking to brunch with my family, and oh, so good. Such a good brunch as well.
Monday vibes.
Oh, star, you're sleepy. Would you like me to leave you alone? Yeah.
I'm just sitting here eating my breakfast and I'm watching a vlog and I'm watching someone paint like a highlight feature section on their wall, and they just used the tiniest little brush to do it, and the entire time I was sitting there going, use a roller, use a roller, use a roller. It was driving me insane. Then I realised this is what some people will be watching my vlog and going like, and I was like, oh, okay. Cool.
Good morning. You decided to grace me with your presence today? So I have just finished my daily and weekly plan. Very excited to get on. Already kind of started, already got a coat on the radiator down before I jumped in the shower this morning. We've got a lot to do, so let's get going. Shall we start there? Boop, boop. Let's go. And onto the first coat of paint in the radiator. This paint went down much harder than I was expecting, especially with the brush. It was leaving a lot of streaks. Tried the roller. That was even worse with all the little notches, so went back to the brush. Took a while, but we got there. It's definitely not going to be flat on the first coat, and I think the matte paint might have something to do with that. I reckon if I'd gone for an oil-based, it would be easier.
And after one coat.
I may have cursed myself, but over the weekend I decided to fill in this wall as it was driving me insane with just how bumpy it was. So I had to sand it down before we got anywhere further. I filled it over the mist coat so it shouldn't bubble this time, and as I was sanding it I didn't see any bubbles whatsoever. It's not as perfectly flat as it was the first time round, but I reckon after a couple coats of paint this will be good.
Well, that's not as perfect as it used to be, but hopefully it doesn't bubble this time. I'll take the one if it doesn't bubble.
And just running over where I had put the filler with some primer. Because it was just small splotches, I just used the brush. It ended up being a wee bit more than I thought, but it was fine. And back to the radiator. We'll skip this one. Wow, lots of voiceovers today. So while all that was drying, I decided to start working on the skirting. First of all, by taking off all the old caulk off the back of it, so when I push it back onto the wall I'll get a nice flat finish. Took a bit of elbow work, but we got there. Chipped off any big splotches and then started sanding it down, roughing it up a wee bit, and again just making sure there was no paint blobs anywhere on the bits of skirting. And I've got some teeny tiny bits here from the in between the doors. I took this up thinking, oh, it's not going to be dusty. It's a good thing this carpet's going in the bin because I got black all over it by the time I finished painting this skirting. It was messy. And what I didn't realise till later was that while I was doing this, I also got black in my shirt. About here, you can see me lean against it. And, oh, R.I.P. nice white linen shirt. Then got working on the skirting in the hall. This is so satisfying to watch back. It was so satisfying to paint at the time. These big blocks, just watching it go from dusty and smudged to nice big blocks. Also, it's so shiny from this angle. It actually dries really matte, which you can see on this panel that I'm doing now. That first panel came out so shiny. Oh, but it looks so good now. I'm so happy with how flat it's looking. This took a while to get round with all the little nooks and crannies. I really didn't anticipate how long this was going to take just going around this ledge here. And also how many mistakes I would make as well. But we got there in the end. I have such a bad back though from all of these weird positions. Good morning. It's pretty late in the morning. It's like 10:30 now. I've been taking it easy and just started doing some of the editing that I am going to be doing this afternoon. Just felt really tired. Just wanted a wee bit of a slower start to the morning. So I thought just sitting here on the laptop would make that a wee bit easier for me. So done that. Done a bit of stars training. We're gonna paint the color on the wall today, and yeah, hold on, what's my timeline look like? Just popped up my Notion calendar to see what's there. Yeah, so we will put the colour on the problem wall today, do the full second coat tomorrow, finish off the skirting tomorrow, and the rest of the day is just editing. Got my friend coming for dinner, so want something that I can quickly stop, and I can quickly stop editing. I can't quickly stop painting a wall and then need to clean for like 15-20 minutes afterwards. So looking like a good plan for the next couple of days, and let's get going. Let's go. I am obsessed with Notion calendar, by the way. I've been using Notion for years, absolutely love it, completely obsessed with it. And the fact I can now have all my databases come into a calendar. You can see I've got links to my housing database up at the top here for the days. I've got my week kind of planned out, and then I can like link in my database tasks on the side so I know when I've done what. Love it, so handy. I've also got personal calendars, joint calendar with my husband on here. So much on here. Obsessed. Love it. Yeah, I've been obsessed with Notion for quite a while. I've got a few templates in the works. I've got one live already on my Etsy. I would like to apply for the Notion affiliate program as well, because again, I am obsessed with it, and hopefully it can help some of you guys out too. Let me know if you'd like me to go into how I've used Notion to like plan the house or plan my kind of days and projects and stuff. I have so many detailed Notion boards, it's a bit ridiculous. So I decided to sand the radiator after the second coat of paint before putting the last one on, just hoping to try and ease out the brush marks. It was really obvious, especially on some of the flat bits and at the start of the little grooves. It was really annoying to sand again, but
That was much faster than expected. So, nice.
Now that everything's dry, time to start rollering. So this is the first coat of the colour going on the wall, and it didn't bubble. It was really great. The primer hadn't bubbled underneath, and this went down like a dream. So I forgot I needed to go around the edges of some of the covers, so you'll see me jump over to the brush and then back to the roller, just trying to get this wall done. The rest of the walls have already had their first coat, so I only did this one here at this moment in time. Oh hey, more radiator painting. Woo! But this was the last coat went on, and once this was done, it was looking nice and white and no signs of the previous splotches. It wasn't the flattest, but it looks really good. I'm happy with it. I can't see a single freaking bubble. Hell yes. Oh, thank God. Don't see a single bubble on this entire wall now. I don't have words. I'm so glad it worked and it's finally good. Oh, it's not as smooth as it used to be, but it isn't bubbles. It's finally worked. Thank God. Ah. Oh my God. Hello, chaos. Hi. Not much makes me feel happier right now than coming out of my bedroom and looking at that wall. It's so beautiful.
So I realised I hadn't been drawing much the last couple of weeks, so I decided to take some time out and redraw this piece. I was struggling to kind of be creative and find some imagination to start a new piece or be inspired by anything or any ideas I've had recently. And I've been meaning to redraw this piece for a while. I decided a couple of weeks ago I was going to redraw a bunch of my old digital art in my new, more painterly, softer style. It's a lot of my old piece I like, but it just doesn't feel like me anymore. So this was the first one I picked. The inspiration was originally Elsa having a little cup of tea, waking up in the morning. Don't ask me why, but this is what we have. I really enjoy working on this piece, and especially making the directional light way more obvious than it had been in the original. You'll see me add on the shadows and the multiply layers later on. And what I also did slightly differently from normal was added a multiply layer over all my block colours at first and then erase the initial multiply shadow layer to get the highlights, and I think that really emphasises this directional light and puts a lot of the piece into shade, and you really get the feel of, oh, it's just first thing in the morning, it's the first crack of dawn. I'm really loving this piece now. I'm so happy with how it turned out. It was really good to just sit and focus for a couple of hours on a nice bit of art. If you want to see the final piece, go check it out on my Instagram. And back to housework. Today is more skirting, yay! I am so glad I'm doing the haul first, to be honest, as this is at least the worst of the skirting out of the way. With 4 doors to do, this took so long, and especially when one of them is up a few more stairs and I kind of had to hang off that little ledge to get the full door frame. I also, during this process, I also discovered what the little buckle is for on my little paint tub. It's not a buckle at all. You can actually click it down onto the top or the edge of the little bucket and it holds your paintbrush, and it looks like a buckle because it's got 2 different widths of paintbrush handles. That was so great to figure out, let me tell you. It was so useful, and it means my paintbrush no longer slips into the paint. I love this little tub. It's so good. Just love it. This little corner here was also really hard to paint, as I was trying not to paint the wall, but also not leave blops on the other door frame. And yeah, this door frame's tough. For all its thin skirting, you think it would be easy. It's quite deep, so it was really hard to get the edges. So I should got that in camera. Star just brought me this. I'm now terrified. She knows what she did. She's just angry I got it off of her. Hi, baby girl. Just a day of editing.
Would you like your breakfast? Yeah? Come on then. Let's go. Here's your breakfast. Oh, you happy girl. It's a happy puppy. And it's Friday, and it's the day my first vlog goes live. Thought I would be so excited for it. but I am beginning to feel more ill than excited. I'm also breaking out really badly. I think it's from all the dust masks. It also doesn't help that I am due my period soon, which is exactly when my hormones all go insane and decide to play with my emotions. So I'm not just feeling what would probably be a normal amount of anxiety, it's compounded. Yay! Gotta love being a woman sometimes, right? So my goal of today is to try to not sit down, basically, because if I sit down, I will start thinking about it way too much and let the anxiety build even more. I can even feel it building while I'm sitting here talking about it. Don't know why I'm so anxious. There's gonna be like 2 people watching it anyway. But it'll be fine. Yeah, so no sitting down, which means we're going to do all of the house stuff that I didn't get done earlier this week that I wanted to. Friday mornings are always my flexible time to catch up with anything, so any extra editing, any extra art, any extra house, any extra cleaning. So we're going to use that today to do some house stuff. Also got some people coming over tonight, so it'll be nice to have the haul kind of done, looking finished. Just feel like I've really accomplished something. Yeah. I think I may go get a cup of tea before. No, I can't sit down. I'm gonna go make a cup of tea and we're gonna bring it up and we're gonna drink it as we get started. Tea normally always helps calm me down. Just holding something warm always really helps calm me down. God, it's so bad. I thought I was ready for this, but you're never really ready for big things like this, and it's why you've just got to, you know, go for it. Like, I will never not feel this way. I could wait a week, I could wait a month, I could wait a year, and I'm still probably going to feel this way on the launch day. Yeah. Let's get started. Let's try and forget about it for a couple of hours. It's funny to watch this clip back, as you can see me jump from rollering to paintbrushing, which I feel like just describes what my mind was like that day. I was so trying to focus on doing the house and not think about the vlog going live later in the day, but my brain was still jumping about all over the place. This was the second coat of colour on the walls. I am so happy with how this came out. I did try and stretch one tub of paint, which did not leave the flattest colour when it was wet. Thankfully, because this paint's really matte, it dried down and you can't see it. But I really should know better than to try and stretch a tub of paint. Just get a new tub. So that went quite well, other than I probably did everything in the wrong order. I forgot when I would re-put down the skirting, I would have to seal it up with the caulk, or in this case the instant nails that's paintable. And it meant that I now have a massive mess on the top of my skirting, and it's going to have to be repainted, and on top of that it is very wet compared to the walls, so I'm going to have to paint the edges. So once that's dry, I'm going to have to paint the instant nails with the wall colour as well. So not only am I going to have to get the wall colour back out again, but I'm going to have to get the skirting back out again. I thought I was doing myself a favour and saving myself some time by keeping the skirting off until the last second, but really I've just ended up giving myself more work. Also, when I was rollering, I also gave myself more work, as doing a second coat of rollering again after I finish the skirting means I'm likely to get splashes of paint all over my skirting, and it meant I had to redo some of that skirting as well. So, note to self, do everything and then paint the skirting very last. Like, that's the last thing I do, is paint the skirting. I guess this is just part of the learning process of doing the house, and if I make mistakes in the hall, at least I'll know for future. Well, gotta hope I remember once I get to the next room, but we'll get there. We'll figure it out. And last thing today is take off the masking tape that I put down in the stairs. I was hoping this was going to be really satisfying shots, but this masking tape did not allow for that. It was ripping and tearing and actually would not come off the stairs. You can see I had to get my scraper out to get the bits off the edges. There's one wee satisfying bit towards the end. Here, right there. Yay! Okay, so today we are going to be drawing the thumbnail, which is up here for my first vlog. Sneaks visit to Mel's into diary. How did that get there? Oh no! Gotta get the floof, gotta get the floof, gotta get the floof. Gotta get the floof, gotta get the floof, yeah. Sorry, that's like, gotta catch 'em all, gotta catch 'em all. Have I been watching Pokemon while I've been painting? Maybe. Look at all these chins, man. What did I just do? I made that so much worse. I thought it was making it better. It made it so much worse. Let's just undo all that. And Star would like to join us. Come on, up, up. Oh, there's my good girl. Boop. Boop. Oh, hello. I am literally shaking right now. I'll probably feel empowered once it's done. Right now, I'm just too terrified. I know nothing's probably going to change or happen, but like, it just feels different. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I can't believe it's up there now. Anyone in the world can see that. Dun dun dun. Nice. And that's us. Yeah, hope you all have a great weekend. But yeah, thanks so much for hanging out with me today, and I will see you guys next week. Ooh, where's my stop button? Pizza night to celebrate.
Ah. That's it. Keep going.
Yep.
I'm off to enjoy my pizza now. Thank you so much for joining me this week, and see you next week. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Bye!